Geeks Gogo presents How to Mermaid, a guide to mermaiding this summer. We've created a series of tutorials on how to mermaid this year, 2019, every Monday during Mermaid Mondays. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our channel and click on the notification button to get updates on when we upload our new episode every Monday. Now I know I've made a Dollar Tree tutorial before for a headpiece, but this one is an upgraded version of it, and I added a few new items. So while we were out in Maine during our vacation, I went to the dollar store and bought a few more items to use for the photo shoot. I really like these foam sheets because they have this really nice texture to them, and since I didn't bring my heat gun with me, I think it would be a perfect addition to add some texture on this version of the crown. So a few items that I did take with me are some zip ties, and I also have a package or a couple of packages of plastic snakes I also got at the Dollar Tree, as well as these headbands. These I bought back in Chicago before we went to our trip and packed them with me. The seashells, and as you can see the foam in the background, those I all bought from Maine. I also have these glass beads that I actually surprisingly found at the Dollar Tree, and we're going to use that later on the ends of the zip ties. To start off, I'm going to use the foam that I bought from the dollar store as well as a headband and use those as my base. And what I'm going to do is I cut out this kind of like a teardrop shape from the foam and poke holes in it, and you'll see what I'm going to do with this later. So basically I just did a random shape that's big enough to go a little bit lower to my forehead, but at the same time like cover like the front area of my head, and that's where it will serve as a base for everything that's going on top of the crown. Now the zip ties have two different sizes. They have two different lengths, and here as you can see I'm kind of like just poking them through the foam. Now what I plan on doing with this is after I poked all of these red zip ties, and they were the longer ones of the two types of zip ties that's in the package from the dollar store, I'm going to loop them through the headband and lock them. Now it's really important, and that way it would look a lot cleaner as well, that you put everything on the exact same direction. So as you can see, like all of my zip tie ends are all facing the same direction, or they're all on the same sides. And then now I loop it a little bit, not all the way yet, but because I want to be able to insert the headband through before I lock them in place. What I like about these as well, they're not only stable compared to having the skewers on your head, but you can actually move them around a little bit until you can tighten and secure them. And while I was wearing them, it's actually a little bit comfortable because the material is a lot more rounded, and it's a lot more like there's no holes poking on it. I don't have to worry about using a lot of glue gun because I have limited number of glue sticks with me during the trip. So yeah, it was nice and easy. I really like just having to pull them through and then just creating this thing. It actually kind of looks like a big eyelash, doesn't it? Look at that water. It's just so beautiful that day. I can't wait to go back. Alright, so now we finished our first row of zip ties. So now I'm going to get started with the second row of zip ties, which is the shorter ones of the two. You can see here I'm curling this end of the foam that would actually be sitting on my forehead. I like to keep that all nice and curled up, that way it sits really well. Alright, so now I'm going to do the same exact thing I did with the red zip ties and just loop through the headband with the black ones. So I didn't do a very good job with spacing this, but then again, like I'm making kind of like a sea witch type headpiece, so they are elegant, but they don't necessarily have to look perfect. So I didn't have to worry about that so much. Alright, I decided to add a little bit more zip ties on the sides here, just to kind of like fan them out. And then I was alternating the black zip ties in between the red ones. I think it gives it that really nice effect, kind of like a sea urchin kind of vibe, you know what I mean? So yeah, this was a lot of fun to make. So counting the number of materials, so far we have spent $4. Just keep going, and like I said before, you know, just keep everything the same direction. Makes it look really nice and clean. And it's easy to kind of like make your adjustments that way as well. Okay, and then up next, I had these plastic snakes that I found in the store. Gives them an added texture. I like the squiggly lines on it. I think that I'm actually going to buy more of these and make just all snakes for the crown. So I just attach these with glue guns. No biggie, you know, just keep it simple. And then I started adding the shells. Also, I cut out the heads to make the snakes like fit flatter onto the surface, and that way it will be easier to glue. The shells are a bit heavy, and this is where this foam base like comes into play. So I have this foam base, and as you can see, it sits very well and stable on it. Oh, and I have this scrap lace that I was going to use in one of my projects and ended up not doing so. But I ended up adding a few touches of that into the base of the headpiece. It kind of like gives it a little bit more added texture, and you will see the effect later at the end of the video, how pretty the effect is. Yeah, sorry, this is not from the dollar store. I did get this from eBay. It was really cheap per yard, so I wanted to incorporate it into my crown. And of course, you can use any lace you want for this. Alright, so now it's time to spray paint this thing black. The crown actually fell. I cut that part out because it was funny. And I wanted to add a little bit more glitter. We were going to do our photo shoot sometime around sunset. I wanted to catch a little bit of light. I wanted to reflect on the crown a little bit. This like oily tar looking thing on the crown looked really cool, but at the same time, I still want my glitter. And finally, here's the reveal. Thanks so much for watching our video. Let me know in the comments below which one of these tutorials are you most excited for. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the notification bell to get notified of our new episodes. See you on the next Mermaid Monday.